I know you've been looking at the weather, and it is supposed to be a blast coming down here in a couple days here, where we're going to start freezing in Friday, I believe, and we're not going to thaw out until Monday or Tuesday. So we're going to get about 4 days frozen, and what that's going to do is going to cause a lot of people in the older type homes primarily to have some issues. The plumbers are lining up. They can't wait till this situation is over with, because trust me, mark my words, in your neighborhood, if you're in an older home community, there are going to be tons of plumbing trucks all over. Why? Because you guys are not friends with me and not taking heed to the video that I'm about to make about what to do when you get a freeze coming your way, especially here in Texas where we don't get it all the time. Now, let's get right into it. So I'm going to give you the best and worst things that you can do in this type of conditions which are coming here. Now, the worst thing you can do is nothing. Let's get that right out of the way. The biggest problem that you guys are having because you're not doing nothing, in which it is a recipe for disaster, especially when you live in an older home with these copper pipes and old type pipes and fittings that are not winterized. So let me show you what you need to do. First off, the best thing you can do is turn your water off. That is the absolute beyond any other measure that you can do that will save a lot of headache, and that is turning the supply line water off to your house. So I know this is going to be a tall task for most people, but this is what you're doing. You're going in and you go into your main supply line. You go to your main supply line and you get one of these keys here, and you just turn the water off. Now that's going to stop the water from being supplied to the house. And what we need to do now is open up the supply lines to get all the water pressure out of the house. Now all that is just basically going to all your sinks and faucets and turning the water on until the water drips out. Let's go to your sinks and faucets and run the water until all the water drips out. And you can actually just leave it open. Just turn a few of the sinks on and leave it open. Now, look, I know that's a tall task for most people, or a lot of people, who haven't done this or don't want to do this, and you're living in your house. I happen to be, because of a water issue, happen to be renovating right now, and I'm not here using the water, so turning the supply line off is, I'm good, but it's an inconvenience for a lot of people. But that inconvenience is worth it, because you don't want to be doing what I have to do, a whole entire house remodel because of a broken pipe. So you can't tell me that it's not worth it. If you don't want to deal with this, that's one of the easiest things you can do. Just turn the supply line off, drain all the pipes. But there's some other stuff that you can do. Now, I know a lot of you guys probably see this thing right here that you can get from Home Depot anywhere. They probably just got them in the aisles right now. They can be effective, but you really need to do some evaluation on this thing. You really, like this right here, like I don't have the little spout. Now what's happening with these spouts here on the outside faucets, the newer faucets, the valve is, instead of the valve being right here, it's actually a few inches inside the wall there. So that's where the water is being cut off, and all the water leading out here is empty. So when this freezes, that's when you have a water leak. So what I like to do, in addition to having this, I still like to cover it up with something. Now get something and you can cover and tape it up. You can cover and tape this up. So that's to give me a little extra protection, because a lot of times this is not going to fit up against the wall. Another thing that you need to do, the worst thing that you can do, is leave a water hose hooked up to that. Absolute disaster. If you have a water hose hooked up to an outside faucet in the freeze, call a plumber to be there first thing when the freeze thaws out. Period. So disconnect all the water hoses. Another thing if you have one of these right here, I don't care which brand that you have. If you have one of these outside, not only do you need to disconnect it, bring that into the house. I've already lost several of these because when it freezes, the parts in the inside, they freeze and expand. And then when it thaws out, this is no longer good. You can't replace the parts inside and you're going to have to buy this over again. I can't stress that enough. Take this off the wall and bring it inside the house. I'm going to repeat that. Take this out from outside and put it inside during a freeze because it's very hard to get all the water out of this anyway. The best solution is removable. Take this and put it in the house. I don't care what brand you have. Take it and put it in the house. This freezes, y'all, and it's going to tear the insides of the parts in inside. They're going to expand and they're going to crack, and you're going to have to replace it anyway. So your best bet is to bring it inside. So the next thing I want you to do, especially if you have a vanity or bathrooms supply lines that are facing an outside wall. This is facing an outside wall. You see the window there? That's the outside wall. Now what you need to do is open up the cabinet doors to any cabinets that you have so that these pipes right here can be exposed to the warmth inside the house to keep it from freezing. That's what you need to do. In addition to that, it'd be nice if you should let those faucets trickle. Yeah, you're going to want your faucets to be trickling just like that. Keep it running. If you have the water running, then it's not going to freeze. So that's one of the things you need to do. And then, like I said, open your cabinet doors to the inside of the house so warm air can get to those pipes back there. Now, hopefully you've already turned the sprinkler system off, but anything that is outside, it needs to be insulated. You need to get you some insulated piping. And let's show you. This is what I mean by insulated piping like this. Any exposed pipes that you have outside, bare minimum, you need to have them covered up with get some duct tape and go and get these and put it on your pipes outside. In addition to that, I could use a bucket of some sort, but look at the insulation that I have off in here. I turned the water off and I use these drain plugs to drain all the water that's off inside of this. Now I've lost too many of these things over the years. I'm not doing this. Now, like I said, the best thing is to turn the water supply line off from the entire house. That's one of the best things, but I know it's going to be very inconvenient for most, or maybe even too much for most. People don't even know where the supply line is, so they don't have the key to turn the supply line off or on with. So I do understand that. But however, those are some of the things that you need to take in consideration when you want to save your lot of stress and all damage that's going to happen. It's coming. It's actually going to come after 3 days of being frozen. That's what you're going to see in your neighborhoods, all the plumbing trucks, because they have copper pipe. It expands and it freezes like no other. So those are some of the things that I'm doing to make sure that I protect my home from the impending freeze that's coming. So get out there, do what you need to do, stay safe. Be making some more videos shortly. I've been out of the country again, but I'm back. See you in the next one.